what has been very fundamental to the efforts on which I have been working for the last 30 years is the notion that there are three enormous forces at work that have created the demise of what I call the job system, where I emphasize the job system is only one system of work. It's only 200 years old. Prior to that, people worked in very different ways. Mm-hmm. But the three great forces are automation and globalization, and the third one, that to me is especially important, very often hardly gets mentioned. And that is that up until fairly recently, on the whole planet, in all countries, something like 80% of the population, give or take a little, was working at farming. So their work was farming. And in the last 20, 30, 10 years, that has dropped, has been eradicated, has been erased in ways that are very often not paid enough attention to. Because what is basic to the approach I have tried to develop is the idea that 80% of the population, or something close to it, have lost their work. It's not just automation. Automation has also eliminated masses of jobs. In the same way, globalization has eliminated or moved or reduced the jobs that are available in the United States to an enormous mass. But farming is one of those three factors, and maybe the biggest factor. And because it is such a big factor, I have from the beginning taken the view that the idea of stimulating the economy, the idea of making the economy grow to make up for the work that has been lost, is absolutely ridiculous. In the last 200 years, technology has been used in ways that have ruined nature, that have turned rain into acid and rivers into sewage, and that at the same time have manacled people to the machines, and the machines dominated the people, and the economy dominated the people. We can now turn this around, and I mean as a picture, a sort of spiral. Mm-hmm. That is, it is in some ways going back, but going back and up at the same time. Back to more self-reliant, more we do it, more we are in control. Maybe we make what we want and we use what we want and we make useful things, but not just the salami and not just butter and not just bread and not just cheese. That's I associate with farming, that too. But beyond that, at this point, with the advanced technologies that are now available, we can make, one way to put it is roughly 80% of everything, but one has to be careful there, of what we really need. What is it that we really need? And then it is now possible to make almost anything, not everything, but among other things, of course, the obvious place to start is food. And we can go beyond what we so far do, although I think that what Detroit is doing in the area of food is absolutely marvelous and amazing. And I can say that because I do travel a great deal. The world is paying attention to Detroit. Technology has been used in ways that are absolutely dastardly. I mean, that have been calamitous and grotesque. And it is that originally technology liberated us, then it manacled us, then it enslaved us, But now comes the next stage where technology can emancipate us in ways that so far humanity has only dreamt of. My response all along has been that we must create new kinds of work to make up for the kinds of work that have been eradicated. And actually, the kind of work that we associate with farming, which is very self-reliant, and in parentheses I would mention, in my life I have been a farmer 3 times. I've worked as a farmer 3 times. That farmers are far more self-reliant than people who work in factories. They also have a sense of the value of their work. And I'm not romantic about this or sentimental, but there is a difference between working and eating in the evening, you know, the milk you have just gotten out of the cow, from doing the sort of work where you move paper from one side of the desk to the other side of the desk. So one of the central ideas I've been trying to develop is the idea that we could do again the kind of work that farmers did. There's a relationship to how farmers worked, but on a very different level. The idea